Today's podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation.
Oh, good. I hope you have something to drink.
I do. Listen, I've got some Mexican Coke. I've got a cheese tray.
We caught up with comedian Roseanne Barr on the Tucker Carlson tour. She gave Moms for America a saucy, wide-ranging interview talking about President Trump, faith, grandparenting, and of course, laughter. That's all coming up next.
Let's roll. Here's to you. Love you.
Welcome to the Moms for America podcast. Each week, special guests tackle the issues facing the moms of America today. Discussions include personal stories and advice on how moms can build a strong foundation of faith, family, and freedom in their homes and country.
Here she is, the woman of the hour. Roseanne Barr is stopping by for the Moms for America podcast. Thank you, Roseanne.
Thank you for having me.
So delighted.
Thanks for being in a great organization that I so admire.
Moms for America is making a difference, just like all of us. We're all fighting for our kids and fighting for our future. But before we get into the weeds, which I can't wait to talk with you about it, we've got the Mexican Coke.
Yes, I love Mexican Coke.
Which I've never had before.
It's the best Coke.
All right, one more toast. I'm gonna try this, okay? Here we go. Very nice.
It tastes so good.
All right, let's talk about last night.
Oh, good.
Whoa,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies, but you were on fire last night.
We have to say no, and they have to see us say no. They have to see us say no. They overthrew the government of our country, and they haven't even answered for it. And that pisses me off.
First of all, when Tucker said to you, would you come on and join me on the tour, what was your initial thought? Sure?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Tucker.
Yeah,
and,
he's so good.
I just enjoy his company so much, and any idea he has for me, I'll do it, because I've done his show a couple times and just had a blast. And it's rare for me to find somebody who gets it.
Yeah.
And he so gets it.
He does.
And
Boy, his audience
he's got a great sense of humor, too. And I appreciate that. And he has a really smart audience. So
he couldn't stop laughing last night with you either. He was just having a ball.
I don't know, it's fun.
Wait, can I ask you? I'm just so grateful that the Roseanne I know from text is now in public. It's just so great. I think you're an amazing person. I've always thought that. Do you meet anyone who agrees with you? Just checking.
He said it's going to be live because, you know, we always just did studio interviews. But I thought, oh, that's fun. And I saw Russell Brand and Alex Jones doing it. So I was very flattered and I was excited, and I didn't have to fly any place.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
I could just drive down
Nice
here.
and close for you. So you shared so much stuff. I mean, you just had a blast. You said you couldn't go to sleep after it?
No, I was all amped up, and I couldn't sleep. It was 4 a.m., and I knew I was coming down here in the morning, so I'm like, I took my melatonins.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 milligrams. You get them on Amazon, and it didn't work, and I was like, when is this stuff going to kick in? So I just watched all my crime dramas. I bet I saw 7 crime murder dramas.
No.
Just one back to back.
That doesn't help make you relax so to go to sleep, does it? Watching.
Well, I like when they get caught, and
Okay.
I love police work, how they, you know,
I got you.
how they uncover a crime
Okay.
and get the motive and the whole deal. And that really helps. Like, a lot of women like these kind of shows that show forensics and stuff. And I think that's part of why America's waking up and seeing how our government is treating us because of these crime shows. Because it's not much different. You know, us citizens, we have to be the forensic detectives to
Right,
put the pieces
investigators.
together.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Our audience is moms, obviously. So I wanted
Oh
to...
no, but continue saying how great I was last night.
Oh, you were... Yes!
Because you know what? I have to
Okay.
ask people how great I was the next day.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
know
tell
from
you-
the audience standing up several times that it went well, but you know what? I don't remember one thing I say in these things.
What was I saying? I'm old. I forget what I'm saying. What was I saying?
Well, I wasn't kidding about Roseanne being interesting, was I? I mean,
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's true.
I forgot what I was saying.
After watching the show last night, and I've listened to you for years, and I've all the way back to the Roseanne show, it's just very fascinating. You've lived such an incredible, interesting life, and just really done A to Z.
I really have done a lot. When I look back, sometimes I can't believe all I've done.
I know. Isn't it amazing, the
Yeah.
opportunities that God has given you? But one of the things that you were talking about yesterday, amongst everything, is just about being, a grandma, and this culture and motherhood, and all of us kind of just banding together to save our kids and our grandkids. As a mom of 5? So you are, you've raised your children, now you're a grandma. One, how has being a mom changed you when you look back as probably one of your, if not your greatest accomplishment of all time?
Well, raising children that are good citizens, that's your
That is it.
accomplishment, not just having them,
You're right.
But seeing that they're good citizens and they're moral people.
Yeah.
That's your
Amen.
greatest accomplishment. And I'm happy to say, and humbly grateful,
Yeah.
that that is my greatest accomplishment.
It is.
And other children too, not just my own.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had good luck with a lot of kids, and I care about them.
You kind of said you were you're known as the mother of so many, really, because they grew up with you.
Yeah, a lot of kids have.
Domestic goddess.
Yeah, a lot of kids have told me that I was their mom, or their other mom, or their TV mom, or something, that they learned something from the show and that they appreciated how much love was on the show between the parents and each other and the family. So I don't take that lightly. That's just that's a great reward, That's better than the Academy Award or any of that. That's a gift back, a reward to me for, what I intended it to be. So that's a great thing. But no, I've always cared about kids. And, I raised my mom's kids too. I was always a mom. Since I was 6 years old, my parents worked, and I was
So
the
you were
oldest
always filling
daughter
that
of
role.
4. So, I would come home I remember 3rd grade, I'd come home, clean the house, and make dinner.
3rd grade. Wow.
Yeah. And, I wasn't a good mother to my brothers and sisters. I like to beat them up and stuff. But, my brother says he remembers me hitting him with the vacuum hose because he wouldn't clean his room. But,
We had to do. You had to do.
I had to do everything, as I was the little mother. And I always was, I was always bossy, and I always had to be the teacher when we played school, and I had to be, I was the bossy one. That was my nickname as a kid, Bossy. But I'm
Well.
still really bossy.
Right.
And I like to boss younger people around, and kids, I like to boss them around. And I think it's very needed now,
Yeah.
because, boss them around is a way of saying, well, it is bossing them around. But now that I'm a grandmother, it's kind of a way of like exercising moral authority. And because I try to be a moral person, which to me is being somebody who has no double standards.
Right. You talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Mama, right?
Yeah.
That new Make America.
Make America moral
I loved
again.
that.
Because I fear our country is crumbling from its double standards,
Sure it
and
is.
that means you have no moral
Right.
standards. So I want to make America moral again, so that half the country doesn't sit and delight in the fact that only half the country is being punished by the law, while the other half of the country does even worse and gets away with it.
Right.
That is immoral, double
is.
standards, and that people think that's okay is evidence of them being completely immoral.
Right.
And I want to make America moral,
again.
because that's the thing. reason America exists, because it has in its founding that all humans are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, among them being life,
Right.
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And there is no other government on the face of this earth who has that besides this one. And though we've fallen short, it's still there, and it's up to us to make it visible in this world. And that's what Moms of America, I see the potential in the group, and I told you that when I met you. I see it being huge, because nothing, in my opinion, as when I became a mother at age 6, a stepmother,
That's right.
but kind of a mean one, but when I became a mother, the world changed, of course. Everything does, because
as soon as you become a mom, everything changes. Your whole world perspective is different.
what happens is that you instantly, without even knowing it, become a we instead of an I. And then, you know, your husband, he does too. So you've entered this whole other realm that you didn't know before, because before that, well, you may have had siblings, you had loved ones, but they were not going to live or die by your care. So you had that great responsibility of we. And the collective, I hate to use the word collective because I hate commies, but the collective we, it's a big, big thing. And so I wanted to bring that message to television, because I wanted mothers to be honored as intelligent beings instead of, and then what happened, you know, just being like accessories, Barbie dolls and Stepford wives. I wanted to show a passionate mother who was a hard worker and had a loving husband. That was always important to me, because that was all my neighbors in the working class neighborhood I grew up. I mean, everybody was a little weird. Like I remember our one neighbors, they had cars up on cinder blocks, and they had wore second-hand clothes and this and that, but their dad went and had a facelift. People were a little weird, but you know, okay. I guess he was a salesman and he needed to have a facelift.
Okay.
But you know, everyone was a little weird, but man, they had their dignity and they worked hard and they were so noble to me. I loved them, and I still do. And when I saw my children become good parents, oh, it's just the best. When you're a grandparent and you see your children be compassionate, loving parents, better than you were, it's just God's gift to you. And then when you're a grandma.
Well, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
What about being,
then
I heard this is amazing.
You have the authority. You've got the moral authority over everything in the world.
Right.
Now, you might not be as good as a great-grandmother or a great-great-grandmother, but you're elevated, I hate to say it, but you are above mothers. If you are someone who lives their life by, you know, with God in the center of it, I believe that then you have moral authority with God behind you to speak truth to power to men. The men of this country need to hear from me.
What's your message to men?
You guys got to toughen up, man.
There you go.
I mean, you got to toughen up. You really do. You've got to, you know, I should make another hat, make America masculine again, right? Maybe Mama could stand for both of those. But you know, they've told men that their masculinity is toxic and all that crap, you know?
Yep.
That's what protects
That's right.
all
Who
of us.
doesn't want a strong masculine man to protect their family and their provide? And I mean, they're the hunter and the gatherers, and we're the nurturers in the home. I mean, it's a perfect blend. And men have lost their role. They've lost their way. So have women, like you said.
Yeah.
Everybody's
we all got to rethink what we're doing. We got to set a goal.
Yeah.
And then prioritize how to get there together, because they've stripped away everything from us. Yeah. I mean, if you really look at it, it's so crazy. It's backward day every day.
It is, right.
But we have to get a goal, and I think our goal is the protection of our children, and to make sure that they are taken care of and educated well. I mean, educated, not propagandized.
Right.
We gotta
Indoctrinating.
fix a lot of stuff, and we can't do it without the men.
Right. Yeah. Dads,
Right?
we say this when we go places, we're the women's group that love the men because we
Yeah.
know how important their role is. We love our husbands and our sons and our fathers.
Right.
And so this is all a part of the plan that God had for us, families. And this is why they're attacking the families. They're breaking it down. They're renaming women as birthing people, and they're demasculizing men, and they're creating a whole new weird world that no one can function in. And the breakdown is so huge.
They don't want anybody to feel connected to anybody. They don't want children to feel connected to their parents. They don't want parents to feel connected to their own children and husbands, mothers-in-law, cousins. You know, it's all me, 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 me. Yeah. And the me, me, me is, now what should I say? Right. There's not even any me in it. Right. They're cyborgs. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all robotized consciousness, and there's no God in that.
No. You talked a lot about God yesterday.
Yeah, that's what they really don't like.
Yeah. That really does create a lot of problems when people start talking about their spirituality and their Savior. But you talk so much about that. I'd love to have you just talk to that about our moms too, because I'm sure that's been a journey with you. I know, you're Jewish, and you talk so much about your faith, and that's something we've lost in America. Yeah. We've lost that in our homes. We're not attending church. We're not praying together.
Well, I say that's good. I know, but it is if you think about it.
Okay.
Okay, you have to start at this premise. God, just because we're all idiots down here, that don't mean God's an idiot, right?
I'm with you.
Just because we're all full of hate and screwed up and don't know, which way to turn like a chicken with no head, that don't mean God's like that. And I think we think God's like us, but He isn't. And we're not like Him neither.
No.
But we should try to be like Him. And He tells us how to do it right there in the book, Yeah. His whole being is about wanting to bestow love on His creation, like we feel about our kids. Right. He loves us,
He does love us.
And He wants to bestow knowledge and goodness and health and beauty and just endless love on us, because that's what He's made of. Right. And that's His emanations, to us. And we have to learn how to, our biggest desire as humans is the desire to receive from God. But it gets all cloudy because we live in this material world where we think our desires are physical or material, but really they're not. Our desire is for God, our deepest desire. I want to tell people God gave us a way to fix ourselves too if we hear the right instructions. And my whole life has been about decoding that. I'm a Bible student and have been since a young age. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but I hate saying this because it sounds so ridiculous to say it. And it sounds like I'm self-righteous, which I'm not. God knows that. I'm a screw-up. But no, I've traveled the world to have these conversations with people. And it doesn't come from me. I just decode Torah in a lot of ways because I'm a student of it. And I have had great teachers.
And you said God spoke to you at a very early age to use your voice. I mean, that was
He told me,
profound.
Well, I don't know what you call it. I just say vision, but I don't want to be like a psychic. That's okay. I always go, I'm psycho, I mean psychic. But yeah, I saw something in a real traumatic moment at age 3. I saw I guess it was a, you know.
I think you talked a little bit about it last
Yeah, I
night.
wrote about it in my first book called Roseanne, My Life as a Woman, about a man on a horse in the air. And he pointed to me, didn't say anything, but he communicated with me. He told me that I would survive.
Wow. I mean, that's huge to be so
Yeah,
little
like
and
this.
figure this out.
Like this.
Obviously never forgot that.
Of course not for a second. And then he told me, someday you'll have an answer to every question that's in your mind now, and I'll walk with you through it. And so I've had this really weird experience with books my whole life. My whole family knows about it. I just am drawn to books.
You're an avid book reader.
Huh?
You're an avid book reader.
Yeah, I've read thousands of books. I have thousands of books, and I probably own, well, I own it when I got rich, you know. I searched every book ever written on the subject of God.
Oh.
And I've read them. Wow. Thousands. I love that. I have OCD on the subject.
Well, that's a
I
good
love
subject to have
nothing
OCD
more.
on.
Oh, I just love it. So I always find really cool things in books. I love books, love to read. So after you read a lot of things, you kind of can formulate new ideas about it, which I love to do.
Right, you
That's
become
how you
wiser.
write a joke too.
Oh. Is that
You
how
know,
you write
you
it?
get a lot of information and then you weigh the words and come out with a joke about it. It's kind of the same process, but I know words are so powerful. I know everything is strung together with words, and words can take everything apart.
Oh, sure.
And that's what I see for Moms of America. Yeah. We can take apart all the bad stuff, fix everything, get all the kids okay, get them a good education, get them some good health care, get them everything they need, and as human beings together, we do have the power because we're made the way God made us. We have the power once we let go of all the BS we've been fed and all the crazy political systems that they impose on us that make no sense, because they should be child-centered. Right. As a grandmother, I've already reorganized the world's governments,
I
and
would
I
like to
spoke
know that
about
as a
it.
grandma what you would do. Yes.
No, I'll tell you about that in a minute because it's actually American. But we have the power to fix everything and make this place heaven on earth for every child in it. We do. We have that power at our fingertips. And I just think we should talk about it because talking about it makes you envision it. And when you envision it, that is the first step toward creating it and making it manifest in the world, which is what Torah tells us.
And don't you think it's contagious too when you start talking about that?
Yeah.
And there is hope, and we can restructure, and we have a lot of wise leadership. If we can just get the right leadership in there, we can make some great changes. We can restore America again. We can restore hope.
The first thing we have to do with our leadership is it must be held accountable. Yeah. And you know, the United States, this is what's so incredible. And when I ran for president in 2012, I had this in my speech for my when I kicked off my speech. I gave my speech
the
in front
kickoff
of,
campaign.
Yeah, I gave it in front of the White House on Mother's Day in 2010.
On Mother's Day, how apropos, right?
And I said, you know, it's time for a new system that works for people.
Right.
And I'm not going to call it any of the old words because old dogma is dead. It hasn't worked because it brought us here. And that was in 2012 when things were a heck of a lot better than they are now. But all the systems that we've lived in, this is where it's brought us. So it obviously is broken and doesn't work. But here's what's so fascinating, because I knew at that time that Benjamin Franklin, he was fascinated with the Iroquois nation, because the Iroquois nation, their government was a government of grandmothers. And it was a grandmother's council. In each tribe, they had representational government. And each tribe would gather in a huge congress where they would actually solve the problems that were in the communities that were The children were having trouble, so they solved the problems of the community, you know,
The
of
grandmas
local
did,
government, okay? But it was representational. And Benjamin Franklin based our Constitution on the Iroquois Nation's Council of Grandmothers. So that clicked in my head so big. So I was like, well, that's our foundation. Right. So why don't we just bring that back? Because we have it all in place.
Get the grandmas back.
Get the grandmas to run for the,
That's it.
you know, the
They've got all the
grandmothers who
wisdom.
love their
Yes.
grandchildren. They're not corruptible by money or sex, for God's sake. They've forgotten about that. Forget that. That's not going to happen.
They can't play in no game there. Yeah, that's good. That's out.
No interest. They don't want your money.
Right.
They want to fix it for the kids. So, you know, and grandpas too, some of them, if they're not on Viagra. If they are, they can't have none. You know what I mean? No.
Okay.
Some things just have to end, and then you have to live a life of service.
There you go.
Right? So anyway,
All right, so
that's what needs to happen.
I love
and
this.
then we reinstitute local government where we actually solve the problems of the children that live in our communities.
Right.
So they are safe
Right.
and not prey.
Yes.
Because we actually think right
Correct.
and we work local and it has national impact.
Well, I love this about the grandmas because we have Grandma Grizzlies in Moms for America. We know the power of not only moms, but grandmas because they have the wisdom, they have the passion, and they're hyper protective because they're seeing their grandchildren. It's like
We've
a
seen
different
it all,
level.
done it all, lived
Right.
through it.
It's a different level.
We know how to stretch a dollar too.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Roseanne Barr. Hi, moms. I'm excited to share some news about our new sponsor, the Herzog Foundation. We know you're passionate about raising patriots and empowering your children with the best education possible. And the Herzog Foundation shares that passion. They're dedicated to promoting liberty through education freedom and helping parents like you choose the best educational path. They offer a powerhouse of resources designed to support families and schools alike, whether you're ready to dive in headfirst to the world of education or simply looking for more ways to empower your child's learning. From free training events to their must-read online publication, The Lion, they're committed to keeping you informed about what's happening in education. Also, if you've ever thought, moms, about starting your own Christian school or co-op, their School Box online course will give you everything you need to get started on the right foot. Again, we are so proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation, and we encourage you to explore all their amazing tools and the insights that they offer. So go ahead, visit herzogfoundation.com to learn more. You won't want to miss these incredible resources. Again, find it all out at herzogfoundation.com.
You know, I've never really felt comfortable sharing pictures of my kids on social media. Then I found Tuvu, a premium social app with an actual, authentic community. No bots, no one trolling me or my family. Just clean, wholesome content you can trust.
Moms for America is on a mission to reclaim our culture for truth, family, freedom, and the Constitution. Check us out at momsforamerica.us and join the movement.
Hey, I want to ask you really quick though. What do the kids call you? Do they call you Grandma?
Granny.
Granny.
Well, Jake's daughter calls me Mimi.
Oh, I
Well,
love
she calls
Mimi.
her other one Gigi, so there's Gigi and Mimi.
Okay.
But my other one's called me Granny.
I love Granny. I always said I love that term, Granny. So cute.
I love Granny. Because I love Granny Clampett. Remember on the
Yes,
Beverly Hillbillies?
yes.
I always wanted to be Granny and carry a rifle and chew tobacco.
Well, I think you kind of do. You get your, right?
I do have my rifle.
Yeah.
I got me a gun you wouldn't believe.
Oh, no.
You know, Trump.
A
I
granny
got
rifle.
a Trump gun.
A Trump gun.
And he signed it, and it's etched in his face. His face is etched into it, and it says "Never Surrender."
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, I bid on that for animal benefit, for animals, homeless animals or something, I don't know.
And you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love
I show it in my podcast all the time.
Oh,
It's the coolest
I gotta
gun.
make sure I get a good picture of that. Speaking of Trump, let's talk about him because I know we talk about back in the day you were running for president. You obviously appreciate President Trump, been a longtime friend of his.
Of course, and I'm so happy that he adopted some of my ideas from my platform in 2012. Go ahead and laugh, girl.
I love
but
it.
He
I
did,
love it.
because I said we have to audit the Fed.
That's
well,
it.
he did it. He moved the Treasury and everything. Great minds think alike,
I'm
and so
telling
do
ya.
mine and Trump's. But no, he's a genius. He solves a problem because he's a builder.
Right.
He's not in there going, how do I screw over the taxpayers? He's like, I'm going to build a skyline. He's a creator, not a grifter, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I love him. He's a creator. And our country hasn't had many presidents that were creators, if any, beside him.
Right.
Well, I mean, maybe our founding, but
Sure, and warriors, and he's a protector and a warrior. He didn't become who he is by not being amazing, clearly. So I saw
so
you,
strong, man, that guy, what he's gone through.
unbelievable. I mean,
Talk about double
please
standards.
God, they protect.
Talk about double
covering over him.
standards, what they put him through. Well, they wouldn't take that for a second.
Right.
They don't even like it when you question Kamala, like how dare you question her, Obama. You're asking them a question? And look what they do, those double standards, and then what they've done to Trump and his family, and they don't even see it. Well, of course we're doing, he's Hitler. I mean, they are so brainwashed, it's horrifyingly frightening. It's like Germany in 1933, and they were all socialists too.
Right. Yeah, it is really
It's
scary.
it's the woke virus of fascism. I hate seeing it in this country. I'm not going to sit here quietly while I see Nazism rise in America.
Thank you for your voice on this. I mean, really, if we have more entertainers, more women, more moms, more grandmas speaking out, and you have such a platform, that's what I so appreciate about you, just getting up there and saying the truth, saying what you feel, asking people to think.
Even if it ruins my life.
But look at you, you're uncancelable. No one can cancel you. You are stronger than ever. That's why I feel like sitting here with you. When I watched you last night, I said, holy good Lord, I hope I'm like that when I get older.
Good.
Because you're an inspiration. You're not stopping.
Hell no, they're not going to shut me up, not after all I've been through.
No way.
Hell no. No.
Will you ever retire? Or what does retire even mean?
I'm kind
Stop
of
having fun?
I can't stop writing
No.
jokes, so why retire? I remember seeing so many comics that I grew up with and loved and later they befriended me. They were doing stand-up in their 90s, like Phyllis Diller. She was doing it I think she was 93 and still doing stand-up. So I probably won't retire from telling jokes.
No way.
But I don't know. I feel like I probably won't retire, but I may go on a fabulous vacation now and then. I've never done, I want to go on a vacation.
Where do you want to go?
Somewhere where I can get a ponytail facelift. I really want to get one of those.
Can I go with you?
Ponytail facelifts. I saw all these videos on it. It looks like they make they go like this. You look
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little eyebrow lift,
Right,
and you look 20 years younger, and they do your jowls
Right.
too. But I really want to. They say go to South Korea. I don't
boy.
think I would do that. My girlfriend said go to Turkey, because because they do it. I guess they do it cheap over there. But I don't know.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to retire. And you just love entertaining. It is a part of you. I don't think entertainers can ever stop entertaining.
I just love
it.
being on stage.
know,
And I
it's so
love
good.
when the audience likes me. And mostly they do, and it's so great. And last night was great because that was a huge crowd. And it reminded me of when I first started and I got
Yeah?
to open for Julio Iglesias.
Oh,
And I had gone from working like in a 300-seat comedy club to opening for Julio in the Superdome.
oh,
And that was exciting. So I'm always gonna like seeing people laugh, you know. It's so fun.
how have you grown as an entertainer? I was thinking about that today. Wow, when you look back, but yet still look forward. You know, just it's been probably just a journey that you can't even put into words about how you've changed or what you've learned or who you've become.
Well, I can tell you what my idols told me.
Okay.
I think it was, I think Rodney Dangerfield's the one that told me it takes 35 years to make a stand-up comic.
Wow.
And I've been doing it 40. And I have to say, he's right. I could see, yeah, he's totally right. Because when you really learn how to be in the now,
Okay.
just be in the now, right in the now, creating in that clear, creative, free space, that just takes a lot of craft. You can't just get up and do it like people think, oh, you know, I'm going to get up and do it. No. Because you have so many elements about words, and I love words, you know. I always say about words, but the turn of a phrase and the use of a word or an inflection all matters. And you have to have that in your head and know. And you just learn from experience from doing it so much. But yeah, it takes 35 years, and I'm feeling now like starting to feel, just now, starting to feel confident with myself after all this, just starting to feel it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to go somewhere, Roseanne.
I know. I am getting famous. It's cool. It is cool. I like it.
Let's talk about your podcast. I have to say, your son Jake's amazing. I
Isn't
didn't know
he?
him. Oh, what a guy. So, how are you enjoying the podcast?
I love it. You know, I love conversation. I love discovering someone, and I like somebody who's interesting, like going, like finding out who is this
Right.
person,
Right.
and finding out how to get them to open up to me and seeing where their bugs are, and if it's going to be interesting to get them bugs out.
So you enjoy it?
I do. I'm liking it a lot, and I'm liking working with my son.
That is so great.
Yeah, it's fun and interesting, and
And is that
there's
it?
a lot of
Jake,
interesting
you just
people.
give him the yell.
yeah, he's
Whatever
my
you need.
handler. He's my CIA handler.
So good. I saw him at the show with the kids and just the family. Isn't that great to have your family together? I mean, there's nothing more important than having your family or working with your kids or taking your grandkids on the road. I mean,
No, there's nothing better in the world.
as far as entertainment, boy, the world's got all kinds of new platforms.
Yeah.
But I hear that you've got something super cool coming that you'll be involved with called Jingo.
I know, it's so exciting. It's like my own network.
I mean, come on.
I know, it's going to be so great, and I get to put on stuff that I like, so it'll be like moral stuff.
Clean.
Clean, well, sort of
It's
clean.
kinda clean,
It's
okay.
not going to be not funny. It's going to
Okay.
be funny. It'll be edgy. It's not going to be filthy.
Okay.
It's not going to be talking about poo-poo and all those jokes.
Okay.
But, you know, it's going to be family friendly,
Okay.
like my show was, and but not foo-foo, you know, fun.
Wow, this is quite the description.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's not like frou-frou, you know, like, oh, you know, it's not English. I don't know what the word, but it's just fun.
Just
and
fun.
I'll have
A new
jokes
platform,
and
right.
family. You can watch it with your family.
Right.
And, you know, it will be moral stuff. It won't be goofy and porno or any of that stuff. It'll be stuff that
You can have
you
it on
like
in
to
your
watch.
family. You can have it in your home.
You can watch it with your mom, your grandma, your kids. your whole family.
I love that. And that's just something too, is use a grandma. I mean, all of us are trying to get some kind of decent entertainment. Entertainment's gone crazy. So thanks to Jingo, we'll have some new opportunities for viewing.
Yeah, and stuff to make you feel good and like uplifted. I like to lift people up, not smash them down with more depression. I like to leave people feeling good and having a good laugh.
What would you say to our moms that are, kind of in this culture right now? Roseanne, it's tough raising kids in this culture. We know that the world's trying to indoctrinate these kids, and they're trying to change their gender, and they're trying to break the families up. I'd love for you to just encourage our moms to stay strong. I mean, you've made it, I'm making it, we're all together in this journey, but boy, do we need some power.
What keeps you strong is what's the goal? And you have to have that in your head all the time. Because it's like, remember Martin Luther King saying, the dream, what's the dream? And so every step you take is a step towards that. You can't just live haphazard, go, well, this and that. You've got to have that goal and then take the steps towards reaching it every day, every step. Not just haphazardly, well, I'll work on it next week. No, but every single step is a step towards the goal. You've got to be single-minded with it. And I think that's just the good advice from all the mistakes I've made looking back. I should have had a goal, and my goal should have been more defined towards, well, I did have for me, but I'm thinking, my goal was, I'm going to get out of here. I remember the day I made that in my mind. It was we were in a bad place, my family, and I had $6 and 2 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was sitting there on the bed, and my 2 kids were jumping on the bed, and I was like, I have to do something. I have no job, and I have very little support. And I just said a lot of prayers, and I just prayed that I would get focused enough to get a plan for how I could make my life better.
Right, for your kids.
And I prayed that all the time, and I think I thought it all the time, and because I have obsessive thinking, and I had to. The more I thought it, the more I got it.
Right.
And I just think it's in the mind, and focusing the mind for anything. That's God's weapon he gave you to fight everything. A focused, sharp mind with a plan, that nothing can stop that.
Right.
Will is very, very important. And when you're walking in the light and the will of God, you're pretty, and I wish people would get this, when you're aligned with that, you really are a powerful person.
That's it.
It ain't about you. It's not about us. But it's about us being aligned with the right stuff. And that's the focus we need, is being aligned with the right.
We're, talking to our moms all across the country about voting and about thinking about our society, thinking about the foundation of families, thinking about protecting our kids. I mean, there's such big issues that moms have to think about. And I mean, President Trump can only do so much.
The number one thing that moms need to think about is how to have a happy family where there are no secrets and everybody's safe. And then this work will just fall in place. We've got to expand this thing to not just be our own families, but our communities and all children.
That's right.
Because the things that are happening to children in America's the #1 place in the world for child abuse, child trafficking. And if we are going to be moral, well,
We'll defend every child. Every mother will defend every child, whether it's your grandchild or my grandchild or our neighbors. What about this election?
That's rational self-interest, that you don't want your kids to have to go outside and get killed by somebody else's kid. So you want to make sure that kid's okay too. It's rational self-interest, right?
We care for everyone, and that's why this election is so important.
So this is so important. That's why I'm not going to stop. You know, I'm old. I'm going to be 72, and I'm old, and I hurt, and all the other crap. But you know, I can't sleep, and I, you know, have to have Miralax and all that crap. You know, but. But I'm not going to.
She's revealing all the secrets today, folks.
But I'm not going to stop, and we're stepping it up. I don't care if I'm too tired or what. I'm not going to listen to myself whine. I'm going to do everything I can do, and I am. I'm on the phone. I have people's phone numbers. I'm calling them. I'm texting them. I'm putting them together. I go, you need to talk to him. You call him. You call her. This is something you can do. So-and-so said here, you call him. Where's he? He's in Ghana. Well, I'm calling him in Ghana. I'm calling him everywhere and saying, this is what you have to listen to me. Yeah. And they do, because they've known me.
You have to listen.
No, these men know, men and women, they've known me. So a lot of times I told them stuff and it happened and they were like, we thought you were crazy. I go, yeah, I know you do, but I'm right. I am the nosiest woman in the world. I have managed to stick my nose in people's business. I cannot believe.
But you're helping them along.
I know, that's why I said, that's why I said, I guess I'm supposed to do it because it's working. Yeah. I'm calling people, you can't believe who I call. And I'm saying, do this and that, because I've stuck my nose so far into their business. I am so nosy that I might as well tell them how to fix things, because I know, because I've seen it all. I was in Hollywood all those years.
Sure you were.
I knew how to deal with network executives and these kind of lawyers and stuff, the worst people on earth. I dealt with them.
Right.
I know how to triangulate with liars and thieves and ghouls. So I can do anything.
Right. And I love the fact that you're telling everyone your story and you're telling them your advice. And hey, take
And you know, like they always I always want to say this too. What? I always said, well, they put me in the lion's den, and I was Daniel in the lion's den. But I always had a fourth guy in there with me. And so I want everybody to think about that too. You always got that fourth guy if you know where to look, and it's in here. He's in here. Because this is where the war is.
You're right.
It ain't out there.
It begins with us.
We're all in a war in ourselves. We're like, oh, maybe. No, yes, no, maybe. Get rid of all that. Say certainty. Certainty to what's right. Certainty of what is right and what is moral. That's what we all need. That's exactly right. And we need Trump. And I'm going to do anything I can do, and I don't know what's going to happen. Tucker asked me that last night.
I know.
I said, I do not know, and none of us does. It could go any of a million ways with the way they are. Here's one thing the Bible does say, that arrogance and ignorance are two sides of the same coin, and they undo the one who holds them. So you don't have to do nothing to bring that person down. He'll undo himself. And these people are so arrogant, the sneer on their face when they talk to Trump, because they're like, in their mind, they're going, oh, those toothless hillbillies that love you. Just their sneer and their disgust with filthy working class people that like Trump. The uneducated, unwashed people who make everything go. Their arrogance and ignorance of that, they are exposing themselves in front of us every day, and it's hilarious because God is really funny. And the way he's making these people expose themselves on TV when they're trying to act,
so shocking, but yet it's
when they're trying to act like they're smart and they just come across as stupid, lying idiots. I mean, it's funny. you know, Kamala Harris going, there's not one soldier that's serving, and then it cuts to all them soldiers.
The fact checking, seriously. Yeah.
It's hilarious. So
Well, that's where we are
enjoy
too
the
as well.
show.
Enjoy
But
the show,
I
but-
think Trump is really smart. And I suspect that he has it all in
Yeah.
control. And if
I
he
hope
don't,
so.
God does.
That's
And
it.
God always wins.
All right, I'm going to end on that note because I know you've got to probably go and talk to somebody else today.
No, I got to go to bed,
All right.
girl. I have so
you.
enjoyed talking with
You're
you,
so
and I
sweet.
hope that. Well, I know moms can do it. Moms can do anything and have done everything since the beginning of time, and we just need to continue.
A special thank you to our sponsors, the Herzog Foundation and Tuvu. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.